Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, how you doing? I feel like your hair's
Yeah,
very nice
nice.
too.
I don't know, try to grow it out, see how it goes. I'm either number zero or fucking afro. It's two settings. It's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
But how other than your hair, how's everything going?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Ticking along. Nice to be back in the UFC action. Yeah, pretty good. How are you? All good?
I just got back from Vegas. I my travel day was awful. Like I went
Yep.
in Friday, flying from the Midwest. I got stuck on they had to like land in Omaha or something because of like weather. I don't know. And
Ah,
we got stuck in Omaha for 13 hours and I was on the plane. Like I didn't even like not even the airport, like sitting down. Like yeah, and then
yeah.
I ended up getting Vegas like late Friday night and then Saturday we were there for like a birthday party. That was cool. Then I came back Sunday and then that was delayed like 6 hours on the flight. It's like if you're gonna delay me, at least let me like chill in the airport, where yeah. So
Yep.
it was a little miserable, but yeah, I went to like a birthday party and it was a very random thing. I'll tell you about it maybe off air, but I it was a good time though. And so I watched all the card, but I kind of had to like rewatch some of the main card because I didn't get to see some of those. But we can quickly go through that, and then we will go through UFC 290. Oh, is it 297? I have to change the title of the video.
Yeah,
I
297.
thought it was 296. I'll change it after this. But um yeah, Ankalaev, like I mean, I kind of
Stretch, pretty much.
he's better. Yeah, I I had him. All I had from a betting perspective was him and Basharat like parlayed up. I had like Basharat like minus 230 and Ankalaev, and it paid out like minus one something. But I figured they would have to just randomly. It was very narrow win conditions for their guys. But yeah, Ankalaev will he get a title shot now?
Surely. I've got a bunch of championship futures that hit it like plus 350 and that kind of stuff. Like at the start of the year, it was just like, because like he's booked minus 600, and logically he's like minus 300 against every other light heavyweight. So why the fuck was his championship? Like, again, it's possible he gets injured or just spends the rest of the year doing fuck all. Like, he did it last year. Like, I lost money on plus 350 Ankalaev championship futures last year. At this point, like, unless the UFC doesn't give him a title shot for an arbitrary reason, I don't see how that's not ridiculous. It's like, even if he fights 3 times this year, I'm pretty sure he probably get worse than plus 300 if you multi them all 3 times. Like, you probably get like minus 600 into minus 300 into minus 200 again. Like, Hill is probably the only one who's, maybe Hill or Rakic might have something for him, but they're still making a decent favourite.
I I have like a pretty strong take that Ankalaev and Hill are the two best light heavyweights.
Yes,
Like
I think,
I would play both of them like over Pereira for sure.
yeah,
I mean, depending on the line, but like like Pereira is so loved now, and I'm like,
yeah.
people are in for a rude awakening. Like he's gonna get mauled by like Ankalaev would just take him down and beat him up. Ankalaev has better boxing too. Like Pereira has very good leg kicks, but if you just happened, I mean, that can be an X factor. So that like Pereira's
Yeah.
live to just kill someone with that. So maybe he could just show up and beat those guys with that. But like other than that, like there's a lot of holes in his game, and like I don't even think he has better hands than those guys. Like I think Jamal Hill and Ankalaev are better boxers, but we'll I don't know. Miller, I thought I'm glad I ended I just didn't trust Benitez, so I did stay away. I thought Benitez was going to win. I kind of quickly watched the fight. It kind of seemed like it was pretty scrappy for like 7.5 minutes, and then Miller started to get takedowns, and then at the end of round two, and then he kind of got a sub round three.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird to me. Like, I had Benitez. Like, I expected Benitez to pull away, like, on cardio. Like, but then Miller just kind of showed, like, far better cardio. But like, again, the great takedowns are nice, but Miller landing 80 significant strikes and 10 minutes of striking action is like, it's kind of weird. But I didn't feel like Benitez looked bad. Like, Benitez just looked like Benitez. It was just Miller just sort of massively overperformed his historical cardio and durability.
I thought Miller looked good and kind of like was
Yeah.
a little better than I thought. I also
Yeah.
thought Benitez didn't look very good. But like it
I
was kind
mean,
of a combo of both.
I mean, I agree, but like, I just don't. I think in terms of like, I think like we got like Benitez 80th percentile, I got Jim Miller 150th percentile. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Jim Miller just looked really fucking good for Jim Miller when it's like, dude's 40 and has fifth most cage time in UFC history. Usually people after that point, because I was always sort of open to all right. Benitez could just get left hooked to death by Jim Miller instantly, kind of a thing. But if you told me that Jim Miller was going to win minutes standing, that kind of shit, just like, I would have been very. That was not the shape of the fight I expected, if you know what I mean. Like, if Miller had just come out and killed him in 2 minutes, I'd be like, all right, whatever. Like, it's Benitez.
1 minute by like consistently getting like top time and maybe some like body triangles, which he kind of did later. But like, no, he did a good job. He's still like the fact that he's still performing so well for his age and the mileage. It's honestly kind of amazing. I said last week a lot of his wins have been pretty soft, which I still think they have. But like that was still like a 40-year-old with that much mileage just dominating Benitez like that. You can't say anything against that. I still think like because of that performance, I still think the right guy would put it on Miller. I mean, he's still Alexander Hernandez, who's all right, I still think the right guy would really put it on him. So I'll be interested in like future ones, but this wasn't the spot I wanted. I picked Benitez to win, but he got dominated. I didn't want to play Benitez either, just because of like concerns we talked about last week. Bautista, he was my other one.
That's good.
I thought about going for him. I just passed, and I just played the Basharat Ankalaev thing. I ended up passing, but he looked great. That was a great performance. Yeah, I didn't even think Simone looked that bad. It was just kind of like he didn't look great, but like Bautista that was a great performance,
I mean, I had Bautista and I had Simone by KO because I just kind of looked at Simone's price and I was like, all right, minus 200 Simone. The only way he's realistically covering that line is if he knocks Bautista out, kind of thing. So I just that was my view. I don't know, but I think Simone's starting to like he's almost become like too technical. Probably not the right phrasing, but he's like one of these things where he's now learned a bit of like actual striking ability. So he's stopped being as much of a frothing at the mouth kind of output god. Which just means that, like, so that was my concern in Bautista. I was just like, I think Bautista is very good. I just don't rate his durability or athleticism that highly.
Agreed.
So I'm just kind of like, I was concerned Simone would just gas pedal.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of weird because, like, bantamweight now, like, I think Bautista is definitely a top 10 bantamweight, but I just don't think he's got the physicality to make it to that sort of top 5 bantamweights.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird to me. Like, I wouldn't even necessarily put Malley in my, like, firm top 5 bantamweights, personally.
Who?
I wouldn't necessarily put O'Malley in my top 5 bantamweights. Like, I think it's like such a deep division. It's kind of weird. Like, I think Merab's number 1. Sandhagen, Jan, who else? Yudong. Like, I just feel like there's a kind of thing where it's like bantamweight. Like, he's probably the number 1 guy in the world, and you have like 6 or 7 guys who are just like a tier below. Then you've got like another 10 guys who are half a tier below that. And I'm not sure if Bautista is quite crossing into like the top 2 tiers of bantamweight for me. So I feel like his physicality probably gets some issues. Like, he's definitely very skilled, but I just feel like Yudong Song or something could just get to a point where it's just like, fuck you, I'm a better athlete.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen probably, but I still respect his game a lot.
I agree. Yeah,
very, 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 very skilled, very good performance.
Yeah,
Ferreira just did his thing to Hawes.
Hawes doesn't even look like Hawes at least gives you like sort of like Hawes usually looks good, then dies. Well, this one he just didn't. He just looked like he never got off the bus.
He never got going. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The thing is, like pre-fight, I was like, Hawes is probably better, but I'm just gonna pick Ferreira. Yeah, I was like, he's very hard, and Hawes like he has one of the worst chins. Like,
I think Ferreira's kind of like what is weird. Like, I think he's kind of like high floor, low ceiling-ish. That's how he fights. Like he has a bunch of high win buttons. He's very called like herky jerky and annoying to fight. Yeah. But like I don't think he's ever put together a consistent run.
I thought it was kind of impressive that he muscled up a takedown against Hawes. Hawes is really tough to take down. Like even
Hawes just looked off though. I just didn't think Hawes looked good. And it was like like this whole big sort of explosive judo throw out of nowhere. It wasn't like a standard wrestling kind of exchange.
Yeah.
Like, Bruno, actually, I have to say, Ferreira's he created this, like, very weird herky-jerky fight. How he is. Like, he just sort of exploded into random left hands, that kind of shit. You could see it rattled Hawes quite badly. Also, part of that's probably Hawes doesn't have faith in his chin anymore for some reason. But I also think like what Ferreira was doing was actually good because it sort of stopped Hawes getting any sort of like rough.
Right. Yeah. It was just kind of like Ferreira, I still just need to see. Like he's obviously going to be very dangerous for early in fights.
Yeah.
He's going to win a lot of fights like that. But I want to see more of him, like in extended action. We still like really haven't seen that. Acosta Arlovsky. I had a feeling this fight was going to like be something like that. Like Acosta was like -6. I kind of watched this fight with like no sound on, so I could just tell it was going to low tempo, and so I didn't like watch it intently. Kind of looked at fight metric. It looked pretty like boring and stuff. Was it just did Acosta clearly win on MMA decisions? Most people went with Arlovsky. At least the audience did, but the MMA media went with Acosta. Like, what did you think? And what did the people in the comments think? Because I didn't really watch this fight to like know.
I mean, I feel like Acosta had bigger moments round 1 and round 3. I took some Arlovsky plus 1,000 after round 1, then I traded out after round 2 at like -250 or 300 Acosta. Acosta kind of had like some kind of semi-wobbles in round 1 and round 3. It's like it was enough that like if you reran that fight tomorrow, I would not make Acosta anything more than -200 just because Arlovsky lulled him into an Arlovsky fight. But
he's so good.
Issue that kind of
so funny.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think also part of the issue is Acosta seems to like you're watching Acosta strike and it seems like he's actually like learned how to kick a bit, and now he's kind of got because Acosta used to just not be able to kick whatsoever and would just have to windmill people because of it. Like he would just march people down throwing 500 sort of power punches. Now it looks like Acosta's actually done some Muay Thai, and as a result, Acosta's like, oh, I'm going to try fighting like a normal human being, which is kind of actually steered him away from what he was good at. Like sometimes these fighters, like they got to stick to the like. They might put themselves at risk of getting knocked out by going forwards, but also it's like, you have the physicality. Even Ricky Simone was the same thing. Like sometimes you just got to stay with the like pure aggression thing, even if it's going to get you killed occasionally.
Yeah, I almost played Parsons. I picked him. I was interested in him, and he looked really good. Like he's just that style wins fights. He cardio, very tough kid. Decent.
I think Semmelsberger took a little bit off though. It has nothing. I mean, I'm not saying I think Parsons is definitely the side, and Parsons could win a lot of welterweight fights because the older side's not really around anymore. I am kind of annoyed that like Parsons was booked against Hafez at like +180 at the start of the year, when that fight fell through, and like Parsons was going to absolutely shit on that. I was sort of looking at that as like a 5-minute kind of a thing, and then it just gets cancelled. Very annoying.
Yeah. McGee.
I think
McGee looked good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, against what? But
I agree. It's weird because he's kind of old. He's like 33, I think, which is that 135? Yeah. And so it's tough because he kind of got here late. Like if this was a 27-year-old, 28-year-old, I'd be like, oh, he like might make some noise here. Maybe he still can. Maybe he's got a couple years to win some if he fights often, But he's super fit. He's a freak athlete. Like he's a super physical guy.
Yeah, but the strength of schedule has been very. I mean, he might be able to do something, but between the age and the strength of schedule, I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever, see how it goes.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Victor Henry a little bit.
What's up?
He reminds me of Victor Henry a little bit, just to coming into the UFC kind of old for a bantamweight, the sort of pace style, but also just like how far can you go when you only join UFC at 33?
Yeah, McGee, I think, has more like danger though. Like he's like way heavier than Henry and whatnot. But Basharat looked really good, and I was happy.
Yeah.
He looked good. Honestly, I didn't think Lapalus looked bad. Like I thought Lapalus like neutralized early and tried. It was just like Basharat's cardio, because the fact sometimes you see these guys, they like go for these takedowns, like how Basharat was doing. They get stuffed. And then all of a sudden they kind of slow down and the fight kind of goes downhill. And you saw that with like Van. Yeah. And then you'll see that. But like Basharat, the fact that he can like maintain that composure and cardio and not lose energy and keep going. And it ended up being a thing like that. Lapalus got tired. And sometimes you don't see that happen. It's like the reverse. That was good. Gene Silva, whatever, he just knocked out a bum. Mota beat. Isn't Nolan Australian?
Yeah, he's Queensland. He got what? Yeah, he thinks he's Conor McGregor, and when you think you're Conor McGregor, it puts into perspective how lucky Conor McGregor's run was, put it that way.
Yeah.
Like Conor McGregor could have just got wiped a lot of times by a lot of people.
And then like off here, like so Joshua Van, I was kind of interested in him, but I just because of his like I thought he had gotten dominated on the mat one time, like in the regionals.
Yeah.
I thought his cardio or his defensive grappling has looked really improved. So I was like kind of interested in him, but I also was like, he still hasn't been tested there like all that much, So I was just like, you know what, minus 250. Like if it was even minus 150, I would have gone for it, but it wasn't. I thought he looked fine, but honestly, like I think better grapplers, I think are going to give him issues. Like just like seeing, I really like his like cardio and pace and whatnot, but I like him. Like I like him, but I still think like there's going to be some guys who can just out grapple him. Like I don't know.
But I just also like taking first round off as a flyweight who's not in 5 rounders just seems not a good idea because like I feel like he builds well, but it just feels like you're trying to outcast flyweights. It's just even against Bunez, I was like, all right, after round 1, Bunez took round 1, and then like Dan merely took over, and then credit to Dan for just he took over very firmly. But like after round 1, I was like, well, fuck, Bunez just won that round. Now Van gets that one takedown or something, and he's done.
He had lost the round. He had lost the round, but I still was like pretty confident he was going to win because I was like, it already looks like the pivot's happening. But
it wasn't like a hard pivot. It was like 30 seconds into round 2, the pivot happened. But like after round 1, it's just like when you've dropped one round to 3 rounder, your margin for error gets quite low. But
other guys aren't going to gas like that at this weight class, And
then like Bunez like hits one takedown, gets a half guard or some shit for like 3 minutes. It's like, this shit does happen.
His last guy like also won the first round. Whoever I forget the name of that guy, and then like Van kind of gas pedaled him too. And I'm like, he's not just going to gas these guys out at some point.
Yeah,
and I think he'll probably get out grappled. I still like think he's interesting. I'm willing to like say he's really, I mean, he's 22, so he could be a completely different fighter in a few years. But I like the base skill set, but I think he's going to run into some bumps like. Against some better guys. Him and Tim Elliott would be fun. It would be like a great test. He could maybe later in a fight could really put it on Elliott, but like Elliott's going to give him issues early for sure, But okay, let's go on to UFC 297. First pay-per-view of the year. Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis. What do you think here?
Wait 5 minutes for Plessis to do Plessis activities and then live bet Strickland, it feels like. I think Strickland should probably be decided favourite. It should be the favourite because of the output and the gas pedal and whatnot. But Strickland can I feel like Strickland lacks like a second gear. He just has like a comfortable pace he likes going at, and he rarely ever switches on to the point of just fucking some yak kind of stretch. But Plessis is like Cortez. He just has a pile of win buttons tied together. Strickland is Strickland's durable, but Plessis could definitely just have a single moment of brilliance kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look live Strickland after a round. Seems like the most sensible thing. And even the pre-fight props are Strickland 3 or 4 or 5 decks plus 200, which I don't think is enough. And Strickland KO 3, 4, 5 is plus 550, which is it. Yeah, Plessis could just annihilate him. I'd rather live bet Strickland after a round at plus 120 or something than take 4 or 5 decision at pre-fight plus 200. If you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Strickland every fight. I've never played him when he's a loss either. Because Pereira, I was I don't really this could be a guy, and we didn't know as much about Pereira at that point, but I was he's probably gonna strike with him because everyone's talking about how Strickland could have grappled him before, and I was I'm not completely buying that. And then he might just get he might give a striking fight, so I stayed away. And then also Jared Cannonier, I thought it would just be a competitive fight, and but Strickland's head strike metrics are off the charts. I was on him versus Imavov at dog money. I was on him versus Magomedov at minus 145, which is like he's minus 100 in that fight, like easily. So I've always really liked him, and like his head strike metrics are literally off the charts. Like if you look, he outlands everybody, and it's by like a ridiculous margin. Even the Jared Cannonier fight, like the fight was, and like generally, it's like 80% of the time, if you land more head strikes, you win decisions, and that's like an actual real stat. So I can't like pick against him here either. The only thing I'm just like, I have to also pick him because he's like a more known commodity. Like I know what I'm getting with him. He's just a very good striker for 25 minutes and can box his ass off. Is going to be really hard to hit. But Du Plessis, I'm like, I like a lot of like what he does, you know, like he's really violent, like he's aggressive. I like a lot of that. He's dangerous, but like there hasn't been one performance that's really like completely blown me away except Robert Whittaker. But I also am like,
even then.
Is Whittaker just like worse now too? Like what's his form? Like, so was it more of like I just almost want him to like do it again. Like, let me see you do something like that again before I'm like ready to say I'm going to pick you versus Strickland. You know what I mean? We're like Strickland is just beat everybody, you know?
Even with Whittaker, it's just like, I mean, I think Whittaker's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. But like I took Du Plessis at like plus 300 or whatever it was because I was just like, all right, Du Plessis has like 5 I win buttons and is going to roll the dice very hard. And like, it's high floor. Yeah, Du Plessis is high floor, low ceiling kind of guy because just like he hits very hard. He has a submission game, and like people forget Whittaker did go to a split decision with Darren Till. Like Whittaker is very Whittaker like. If you give Whittaker a Kelvin Gastelum or something where it's like the perfect canvas, it looks incredible, but also Whittaker has like shown like I've never been super sold on how Whittaker's game was put together, to be honest. Like, he's had some great performances. He's also had like some where it's like if Whittaker's in the fight with like a power guy who's happy to sit at distance with him, he can just not put up gigantic margins. Yeah, people sometimes act like Whittaker is like Max Holloway or something, where he's like automatically going to. Whittaker's always been a little bit fragile and like. He just never really had that capacity or that consistency to open up these massive margins to really justify being my again. I think Whittaker can beat a lot of people, but I just don't think Whittaker has like this upside to his game.
Yeah, I just don't know. It's like Dricus Du Plessis. It's just like he's won some fights on cardio, and I'm like that. You can't really do that for Strickland. And he's obviously dangerous. He can knock Strickland out, like we've said before. But overall, Strickland's very durable. Like think of how many striking rounds he has had, and he's only been put away twice, ever. So
spinning head kick and a flush Pereira left hook. So it's like even as knockouts go,
it's kind of like that's pretty forgivable, and like he's never been better than that. Can't even recall him getting hurt all that. Usman hurt him actually. That was one of Usman's best performances that no one talks about. He just beat the shit out of him. But I don't know. Like I don't really know. I kind of want to. I think it's right to favor Strickland because he's a more proven commodity. But I'm like, I just want to see what happens. Like I almost like it's weird because like he's a title challenger, Du Plessis, but I kind of want to learn more about him. Like I want to see how's he going to look against this good of a striker late. Like who he can't just gas out. Or whatever, and like Strickland's defense is just so good, and he doesn't ever get outlanded to the head. So I'm gonna pass on the fight, but Strickland is a pick for me. Pennington, Pennington Silva. I feel like I'm not high on either of them, honestly. Like we know what Pennington is. Silva's not very good. She's dangerous though. I think Pennington's a value side here. It's a fight. It's not one I'm going to play at all. But like, she probably is. She's very tough. She's like one of the more durable women in this division. Like the only time she's been finished was Amanda Nunes beat. That was
more injury, but
she was so much better.
Yeah, no, it's just
Silva's not so much better than Pennington to where like that type of stoppage will probably happen, but. She is dangerous, and like Pennington could be like, it'll probably be like pretty competitive exchanges. She could maybe get some top time, could maybe be like a better wrestler, but Silva's very dangerous. So like some dumb, some dumb finish could happen, but like other than that, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Pennington will pass. But yeah, it's kind of ironic because MBS win will just be like a sub in like second round or some shit, and everybody will be like, oh, she's minus 10 billion, but like she doesn't really win minutes, and like it's very hard to take a women's fighter who isn't a minute winner at significant minus. Just nature of how women's MMA is. Like I can see how Pennington can look minus a lot here. I can't really see so many ways MBS looks minus a loss here. Unless MBS just physicals her. And it's like you look at MBS's wins, and it's just like there is a lot of junkiness. Even like Holm, like I remembered MBS Holm being like a good performance for MBS. And it was like I rewatched it. I was like, all right, Holm just cage pushed her for 3 minutes. Every time Holm let her off the cage for no reason. Like MBS wasn't even getting out of the clinches. Holm would just get bored after 40 seconds and just be like, well, I'm going back to space now. And get smacked 3 times and then go back to the clinch. And it's just like, why the fuck is Holm doing this? I think Pennington. I think Pennington will pass. I think live Pennington might be the best spot. But even then, I feel like she could just win minutes in the jump because MBS is so useless. Like, MBS almost lost the fucking decision to United Woke. That was a lot closer than it needed to be. I don't really see how the fuck anybody could be in the minus 160 MBS business right here over 5 rounder. And also seems crazy to me. The under 4.5 is like minus 110. MBS is minus 160. It's like, what those numbers has to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, what chances do you give MBS winning a decision?
Not very high, and who knows? Like maybe they could strike for 25 minutes and she could land the more impactful shots. But like I don't know. I just feel like. I kind of feel like.
I also kind of feel like Bennington has beat like 3 or 4 women in her current streak. I would take over MBS and Higgins.
Yeah.
I'd take Ladd on a good day if Ladd decided not to be an idiot. I'd take honestly Jason versus MBS would probably be a hilarious shit show. Who else? I think I'd take Ketlin over MBS. Like obviously Ketlin probably did get robbed, but like I just don't see why anybody is that confident in MBS.
It's hilarious because like I'm looking at the props. I've never really seen a fight like this before in women's MMA. Plus 155 is Penning. Is this right? It looks like it. Yeah, if I mathematically played out, I think it's right. But it is. Plus 155 is Pennington's decision. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. And then that's because like they're basically giving her no inside the distance path. And then Pennington
does push her pass.
475, and then her ITD's plus 115. So it's like that's kind of nuts, Like plus 115 is a pretty big finishing path.
It's women's.
Yeah, and it's Pennington. Like Pennington's tough, but I don't know. I
also
thought Holm was going to beat her, but I do think Holm's like a little more likely to get like subbed than someone like Pennington.
I mean, also, and I think Holm, like you rebook Holm MBS tomorrow, I'd take Holm minus 200 again. Like, I don't think that. Like, I think Holm looked a little bit shaky, but the cage push was there. I think Holm did look a bit shit, but nothing I saw in that fight made me go, Holm was an underdog in that fight.
I think I'm gonna pick Pennington.
I also think Pennington could finish MBS down the stretch. Like MBS seems to have doesn't seem like the most courageous fighter sometimes, and Pennington does actually push some solid pace and tends to take over late.
It's funny. She did get a finish over Chason, but Chason's a little bit. But all right, next fight, Mallet and Magny. I
am unsold on Mallet, but I feel like Mallet does like enough of the things that Magny doesn't like having done to him. But it's just kind of at this point, the Magny game plan is like known to everybody. Just kick him in the leg, go to space, and have an arm triangle. Like Mallet seems to have an arm triangle and seems to go kick the legs, so like probably fine. But also, if Magny took Mallet to the Magny versus anybody that surprised, like moneyline, I'd much rather go Magny than Mallet, but Lie's probably better. Like Mallet's cardio, it's a bit of a mystery. So Mallet's cardio is a mystery, and you never know. Like Magny could just drag him into a Magny fight. It could definitely happen. But like Magny just seems to have lost a bit of physicality, and Mallet seems to have the right ideas to beat Neil Magny.
Yeah, I feel like it's Magny, you can't play Mallet at that price. You know, you just can't.
Yeah.
Like he's still
What the fuck are you getting?
He's still kind of just unproven in like extended fights. And Magny, if that a cardio thing happens, like, but I also feel like with Magny, it's like I'm not playing him, but it'd be easier to just live bet him because like I feel like Mallet's still probably can have success early even if he loses. You know, so like just to kind of get more data or something. But I don't really have strong opinions on it.
If Mallet's looking meh or Magny's looking good, it's just like, all right, it's probably not going to go from plus 290 to minus 150 in like 5 seconds. Like Magny tends to build a bit, so it's like you probably, I'd rather take plus 150, knowing Magny is competing, but I would take plus 290 blind. It's like also the strength of schedule here is insane. Like again, like Mallet's fought literally nobody. Like I'd love to get like Dalby plus 500 against Mallet or some shit. Like that just seems like it. Like there are a bunch of middle class welterweights who I would love to play at very big numbers against Mallet. But I feel at this point Magny's kind of known. And Magny's just the holes are too known, and I could see how they line up badly what Mallet's trying to do.
Yeah. Chris Curtis and Marc-Andre Barriault. I haven't really thought about this. I don't totally understand the line. Like I don't minus 200. I mean, it's kind of like
I would rather be on the under or Curtis KO than his money line. So I just feel like,
that just doesn't seem right to me. Like I don't know. I haven't like watched tape or anything, but just like I mean, even if you, I know these guys well, and just like is. Like who's Curtis minus 200 against in this division? Like I don't know. He's not that. He gets out like he doesn't land takedowns. Like so he's not going to dominate with that. And then on the feet, it's like he absorbs 6.3 significant strikes per minute. He has fought some good competition, but like he absorbs more strikes than he lands. And Barriault's very tough, so it's like Curtis going to kill him all that often. Like he could, but Barriault's very tough. Like I don't.
I mean,
like you can't be confident in a winner. Like if I would probably like favor it closer to even, but I almost feel like Simone Bautista here, where I'm like I think this line is like I don't really get the minus 190 here. You know, I guess I did with Simone because he's more like more profile, like you know, like more. He's a bigger, like harder competition, so I get like why people deferred to that. But like this just seems like a couple okay middleweights who will strike competitively with one another. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's kind of weird. I think Curtis will land very hard very early. Like Mab has to exhaust everybody. Like Mab is very hittable in that first round, so I'd probably rather get live Mab than 3. But I also agree with you. It's just like unless Curtis is knocking him out, I just don't see like where's the minus 200 coming from. If and even if Curtis does knock him out, it's always a question of like just because you KO London in minute 30 doesn't mean necessarily he was minus 200 to win that. But I could definitely see it happening. And Mab is in Canada. He's got the Canada boost. Curtis rarely separates on minutes. Mab is bringing pretty much all the grappling upside. Mab is bringing pretty much all the forward movement. I just can't see how you arrive at this price unless you think Curtis knocking him out is like minus money. Unless you think Curtis KO1 is like plus 200 or something, I just don't see how you arrive at this price.
He outlanded Chris Curtis won a 29-28 decision against Rodolfo Vieira on the feet and only outlanded him 104-83. It's like,
and most of that was after Rodolfo gas. Pretty sure Rodolfo actually outstruck him for the best.
And it was a guy who had 20 takedowns and exhausted himself. You know, like I just and Barriault was really good card. I don't know. It like again, I'm not confident. It's probably just a really competitive fight, and I just don't. I don't know. Did Steam come on this? What did they open him?
Quite strongly. Curtis was like minus 150. Yeah. I know a bunch of people. I know a bunch of people who are big on Curtis, but I just cut it Mab or pass.
He gets outlanded. Like he has fought good competition. Like even look like what Jack Hermanson just dominated him. Like Jack Hermanson's very good, different, but like much more evasive. Like I do think like stylistically, like not just looking at like numbers, it's like Curtis does better when someone comes after him, which Barrios might do, but yeah.
I still remember that fight. I had Hermansson, most takedowns, most significant strikes, most win at plus 750. And Hermansson went 0-6 on takedowns because Curtis completely shut down all forward movement to do nothing but stop takedowns. It was fucking hysterical. And I was just like, that card was ridiculous. They also had most significant strikes, most takedowns, Curtis Blades win against Aspinall at plus 1,000. And we all know how that fight ended. So like back to back, it was just two horrific beats, because it was just like, Hermansson, like Curtis clearly came into the Hermansson fight with mindset that if I do not get taken down, I win automatically. So he did nothing. He just optimized that one thing, and then just got kicked a lot to free.
It was a good performance.
Hermansson,
like Hermansson fought smart just to like get a win,
Yeah, Hermansson's new style makes sense. Hermansson Pfeiffer is like next week, isn't it? Or week after?
What's up?
Hermansson's like plus 200 against Pfeiffer in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, it's
that is insane.
It's minus 211, Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unless Pfeiffer knocks him out. I just think Pfeiffer's knocking him out inside fucking 3 minutes. I don't see how you're ever arriving at that price.
Agreed. Allen and Evloev. I favor Evloev just on more past to victory.
Yeah.
Allen's a decent fighter. He hasn't fought a lot of wrestlers for a while. That's the thing. And like the last time he really did, Mads Burnell landed 6 takedowns. So it's like he did a decent job counter wrestling at times, but he still got controlled 7 minutes in that fight. And it's like Evloev, will probably he could get mild to moderate like grappling success here. Maybe land a few takedowns, and then even on the feet, Evloev might win that. Like Allen's a good. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Edwards, where his striking metrics aren't very good, but he's a good neutralizer, and like slows down the pace. He's very technical, but Evloev might just like outbusy him on the feet, and then can maybe mix in some takedowns. Allen still like had some good moments against Holloway, but he could win a competitive striking decision. I think Allen, I could see something like that happening, but I do think like Evloev has a higher ceiling in this fight with like takedowns and volume and whatnot, and more past to victory. What do you think?
I think Allen's got kind of one of those annoying neutralizer floor kind of things, where it's just like he's never more than plus 200 because he creates this annoying distance spacey striking thing. He's dangerous. He's somewhat dangerous everywhere. And he's just annoying to fight. I do think that if you were to take Allen and put him into the UFC, make him start in the UFC again at like number 30 and make him fight 3 times against top 30 heavyweights to get back to the top 5, he's like plus 500 to do that. I just feel like Allen's kind of weird, so I feel like his run up to his current ranking was just like, he beat like Gilbert Melendez off pure leg kick win, so who cares, and Melendez instantly retires. He has a surprisingly competitive fight against Nick Lentz, the ghost of Nick Lentz, who immediately retires. He knocks out Dan Hooker instantly because Dan Hooker should not have been making that weight cut. And then Calvin Kattar's leg blows up. And it's like, I am not the fan of Arnold. I don't think Arnold Allen should be a top 5 heavyweight, but I also think now that he's in the top 5, he has an annoying neutralizing herky-jerky style. And there's not many people that want to take over him at like a big favourite. So I feel like Allen has like between a 30 to 50% chance of beating anyone. I don't think Allen has much of an affirmative case to beat many people, but I don't like how it works. I think his training schedule's terrible. I think he's probably a little bit like, if you chuck Nate Landwehr or something at Allen 3 times, I think Nate Landwehr like ends up being points against him. Like, I think there's a bunch of top 20, 30-ish heavyweights who just make very competitive fights for Arnold Allen. But I also don't want to use him. I think he could get competitive fights out of a lot of people as well. So just an annoying kind of weird career.
Yeah, it's weird because the other wrestler he had was Amir Khani. It's like the 2 wrestlers he faced were kind of Burnell and Amir Khani. They landed 6 and 4 takedowns and got 5 and 7 minutes of control. And Evloev is a better wrestler than both those guys. So it's just like you got to. I still feel like you have to favor Evloev because of that alone. And the feat's probably going to be very close.
I just think minus 200's fine. Personally, Evloev's shown enough lapses and shown enough things. Allen's kind of dangerous enough. I'm like, all right, minus 200 is fine.
Neutralizing enough too. any other fights you want to talk about, or anyone on the comments if you want anything?
Woodson versus Jordan would be funny. I think Woodson took the shit lately, but I still think I do not understand why Woodson's a dog there.
Yeah,
but yeah, again, it's like a 10-inch reach advantage or some shit. And Jordan sucks. Jordan has never been good. Jordan has had one of the most hilarious careers. He just magic. Like Jordan Ramos to this day it was hilarious.
Yeah. Katona Armfield should be pretty fun. If Katona kind of fights like he did last time, because I think Katona's like more proven. I like Katona. He's good.
I like Katona. I think he's a decent fighter, but he just has he has a good game and he has a good skill set, but he just doesn't put it together in a very sensible way. Like he's one of these guys where it's like you can admire what he does from micro level, but then you look at his macro level where I need to win UFC fights kind of a way, and he's just not built that much. But he seems like a great guy. He seems very driven and that kind of stuff. I just don't think his game is very practical. But also Armfield, I'm kind of like there on. I was like, and Armour outgassed him and he beat the absolute fraudulent Japanese guy. I'm like, Armfield seems like a decent prospect, but the price seems fine.
Yeah.
Robertson seems like physicality could be an issue, but also should probably beat Polyana. I don't know. Yeah. I could see Polyana just running over her.
I got in on Robertson early, like a really early line, like -1.3. Just it's like when she can land takedowns, Robertson's pretty fucking good, and Viana's 43% takedown defense, and it's just like I didn't like the way Lucindo is like passing her on the mat and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Robertson's passing game is really good, but like Viana could maybe get
physicality.
Yeah, something like that. But I do think I ultimately think Robertson should win that fight, but Jasmine,
I just think
where will be funny.
I just think Viana is just like I just think like Robertson is just like Viana did run Ricci very close in a very stupid way, and I kind of prefer Ricci to Robertson at this point, so I wouldn't play massive juice on Robertson.
Yeah, I do think though that Robertson's better on the mat, like on top. Well, like Ricci just kind of could chill in her guard.
I do agree, but I think Ricci's more physical, can strike better, has a bit more durability. Like Robertson just
she can strike better, but I don't think she has a better top game than Robertson. Like actual submission grappling, I think Robertson's better.
I think Robertson has a better finishing part. I think Robertson once she gets on top probably better. I just don't think everything else.
That's what I'm saying.
And I just feel like in isolation, MMA that skill set's like the least useful. Unless you have the wrestling or whatever.
It's least useful except here when your opponent can't defend takedowns. You know what I mean? Like that's just I just feel like when Robertson can get top time, she kills people, and so that's what I kind of think. But I don't have any other opinions. We'll
pretty much.
Yeah, I think we have another we have another break and then we come
another break next week.
Yeah, we come back to Delidze Imavov, and I guess we'll talk about that then. So I guess we'll see you 2 weeks from Monday. So, or 2 weeks from today. So it was good talking to you, and thanks for everyone for listening.
Gotcha. Okay, everybody.